Hi there. So recently I'm doing all of these Q&A videos, and lately I've covered this whole parenting thing, raising kids, and what can we do to help the younger generation. And one of the comments I've read was that if parents are stupid, or if they're ignorant and ill, or like sick and all that, they cannot help the kid, and the kid will probably end up like them. So this is one of the things I want to talk about. Like, for kids, where they grow up, their environment, the people they are surrounded with, shapes their world quite a bit. And I'm interested in like what kind of people help you to shape your world? What kind of people like made a really good influence in your life? How? What did you do? What did you learn? And what was the biggest thing that they taught you and stuff like that? Because I think it's important to like acknowledge those people and like talk about us, because as kids, as we grow up, or like it doesn't matter where you are in life. If you find someone you look up to, if they have the life that you want to have, and you sort of like, okay, this is my role model, this is my mentor, or however you would call that person, they are blazing the trail for you, and you basically follow their footsteps. You do this and that, and like whatever they did in their life, you're kind of like using their tips, and all of a sudden you see that your life is better. Now, for us, it's very important in any time of life. It doesn't necessarily have to be in childhood. Like for me, as a kid, like I've seen all of these, I don't know, like musicians that had like pretty good message in their music, and I like that. And sort of like, yeah, I can learn more about love through songs and music and stuff. And one of the biggest things was like last year. I've had all of these like this huge fallout in my life, and everything I thought like I had and everything, like just it was just like a complete destruction of who I was and everything, and that was like pretty bad time for me. And I found out about Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, Lewis Howes, Tom Bilyeu, Les Brown, and you name it, like all of those people. And like, they're huge. For me, in my world, they made a huge impact, and they helped to shape me who I am today. As in like, how can I work on myself? The things I can do. What can I do to build my self-confidence, to build my, like all these like basic humanities. And for me, it was a huge thing, because as a person, I'm really afraid of people. I had this like huge social anxiety. Uh, I've lived a life where I had like zero self trust, pretty bad like low self esteem and all that. So for me, it was like I really hated going outside. I really hated communicating with people. Not because I don't like people, but more like I'm afraid of them because I was hurt, because of all of these things happening in my life. And I pretty much like closed up from everyone, and any kind of challenge in my life, that would pretty much destroy me. So I was like really messed up. And having role models like Tony Robbins, like Mel Robbins, even Bruce 150X, like he made a huge impact in my life regarding communications, and like he helped me greatly with my spiritual life. And having those people shaped me to where I am today. And I'm really breaking out of my comfort zone, just leaving my shell, that security place that I had my whole life, and finally stepping into these like cold waters where things are unknown, and I'm like testing things out, and I'm failing, I'm succeeding, things are working out, things are not working out, but at least I'm living, and I have this journey, and I keep moving forward no matter what. And it's huge. For me, it's a huge thing. So I really want you to share like the people who helped you, if you had any people, because if we can like finally put out someone, like I've made a video about like in the past, like I think like one of my first videos was like about the people who made a positive impact. But again, I want to push it, because like for us, as we grow, as we live, and every day we learn something, if we can surround ourselves with people who make a huge impact in our life, and people who are positive, people who are like help you to learn. They don't necessarily have to be the brightest, most positive person, but as in like they teach you and they make you live your life to the fullest. I think this is the best thing for us to learn, to grow, to not be afraid to fail, to not dwell on our mistakes, to learn, to just keep going for your goals, and that's very important. And I think like for kids, it's pretty harsh, because their parents might not be educated, their parents might be kind of ignorant. They might be like alcoholics or like whatever. Like it can get hard. Some people like they're just left and they're abandoned, and now they're like orphans, and like they don't have any parents anymore. Like of course physical blood, like, and I mean like the blood connections, sure, like physical bodies, sure, but other than that, like there's no soul, there's no like love and connection like that. So it is pretty harsh. And then people who surround you, like your friends, you can pretty much find those who you're kind of comfortable with, who kind of accept you, but then you cannot talk to them truly. You can't share your opinion because there's always the leading person, and if that person isn't that good, if they're like more into like being selfish and stuff, oh, it can turn really, really bad. And this is why we see a lot of people like falling out, like getting bad behaviors, getting into drinking, smoking, and like doing like committing crimes and stuff like that. Like it's so easy to be in the company of like not that good people who are like kind of ignorant as well. Like, you know, they had pretty harsh lives, so now this is their lifestyle. If you stay with them, if you keep your company with them, you're gonna pretty much become the same. We become who we hang out with, kind of like. So for me in school, like I pretty much isolated myself. Like I didn't really have friends. The first friend I tried to make, pretty much like, you know, hey, like let's share secrets because we're friends. The first secret I told that was like super huge to me, and like, you know, that was that, you know, I needed help. Like I was like, you know, hey, I was like sexually abused, but no one really gives a fuck, and no one cared. So yeah, that's my secret. And next day the whole school knows, and everyone's kind of like not trying to help. They're bitching me out. They're making fun of me. And all of a sudden, this whole thing became a joke as if, hey, you're a liar. What am I to do? What am I supposed to do? Like, police doesn't help, parents don't listen, people everywhere around me make fun of me just because of my shit that happened. Well, I guess I ain't gonna talk to anyone now. So I kind of closed up and just like pretty much like, fuck everyone, you know? Like I was like, I pretty much disconnected from everyone and stopped trusting people. Like, you know, yeah, I can tell you stuff, but I will never share my true things. And I'll be kind, and I'll be like, I can talk, I can communicate, I can be friendly, but I will never really open up and be myself around people. And that was like a huge thing. Like until like 18 years, because of the way I lived, I could not make a decision for myself because like my parents are great, but they're also like sort of pushing the way things should be. You know, like, hey, this is nowadays fashion, so you have to dress like that. It's just like, what do you want? Like, we would go like to the grocery store and they would ask me what I want, and like, oh great, thank you, I want this, and you're gonna pick completely the opposite. I'm like, well, okay, you know, like this is like lots of misunderstandings, so we never really had those conversations. And I very much like, you know, even though my parents are like good people, I kind of like disconnect from them too. Like they just like, they're good, but I never had that like good connection with them, and it's just pretty much the same nowadays. Even if we like, how like, hey, I want to talk to you, and like just okay, dad's watching TV, mom's on the phone, I'll wait. And I ask a question, and like 15 minutes of ignorance, like no one's like even answering my question or even looking at me. Like, okay, I'll just go back to my room, and like that's my life, you know. So like for 18 years, I've never really had anyone to communicate to, and like a lot of people who see Rich 150X, like we make videos together. Rich was on my YouTube, I was on his YouTube, and like we had this connection. It's because like he was the very first person who had me to open up. I watched his videos on YouTube, and I was like, hey, well, I'm interested in newbies, can I have this? And I had a goal, and I asked him a question, and he wrote back, and he explained everything fluent, like just so much. And it made this huge impact in my life, and he even gave me like free access to his course, and that was like amazing because I didn't have money to pay at the time. But like, you know, hey, I ain't gonna waste a chance. He had this like getting like out of body course. I took it, I gave my all, like every day as much as I could. I would invest all my time because like I really wanted to get it. And wow, he really helped me. So from then on, like 8 years passed, Rich and I, we still have very close connection. We're like really good friends. And you know, he taught me how to be myself, how to say no to people, because I was a person who couldn't say no. Like, I don't want it, it's against my will and stuff, but people just ignore me, and like they would push it, and now like I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do it, whatever you want, might be against my values and stuff, but you know, can't stand up for myself. So Rich 150X, he taught me how to stand up for myself, how to say no, how to even communicate, because like first 2 years when Rich and I we were talking, we were literally texting. I was writing like text messages, and he would talk out loud, like because we would connect on Skype or stuff, and that was like pretty harsh. And like he really like, because I was so closed in, like I couldn't talk out loud. I was just like afraid. I would go to school and I pretty much wouldn't communicate to anyone unless I like had to answer a question or something, and I was just like that super close in. So for me, like it was kind of harsh. And when Rich and I started talking and like he helped me, I finally broke that shell and started communicating, learned how to talk normally, and I had and probably still have like this. Well, I've had this huge social anxiety, like just afraid of people. And if I have to answer a question, like I hate being the center of attention, makes a YouTube video and like hundreds of people watch. It's like, yeah, you sure hate that. Like, so for me, it was like a huge evolution of the person that I was and how stuck I was in life, and just like having Rich 150X and just helping me and talking to me and teaching me, and I was basically just rebuilding myself as a person. And as I was growing, ups and downs, like you learn something and yay, I win, and then life happens and you fall again and you fail, and you have to like reshape your thing. So again and again, I would go up and down, up and down, up and down, until like recently, like a year ago, I found even more people with different kind of mindsets, and I was like, never really looking at them. On YouTube, like never didn't knew about them, or like if I knew it, like yeah, it sounds familiar, like but I would not watch this stuff. And finally, like plenty of stuff happened to where I was pushed like close to the suicide. I was like, oh shit, like this is like pretty bad. I can't handle it anymore. I just want to off myself. But I was like pushing it, and then like accidentally like watched this video. Like okay, yeah, I have something to do, and I started listening, and like the words of Tony Robbins just like really struck to my heart, and like wow, that's like I could so relate to what he was saying, and I just like started building one after another. Like this person gave me this, and I was just like take all of these tips and tricks and just like build myself as a person. That now, from people, I mean like, how to say it? I was a person who was super closed in, and people would look down on me. My family would not really consider me being any good. Like they uplift my brother, like yeah, your brother can do this, but you can't do that, and like. My brother would always be above me, and people like look up to my brother but not me, even though like I'm trying my best, and like hey, your brother can lift a log and you can't, you're a girl, like okay. So I was like pretty much like crushed, and I pushed myself to the point where even now my brother is asking for tips. I can like give my family some money and help them out, and I was just like I've broke away from everyone. I'm building myself as a person to be the best version of myself. I know that like I cannot control people, and I cannot control the outcomes of what they're gonna do, but I can control of the way how I'm gonna react, of how I'm gonna like do things, and like how I'm gonna just change myself. And this is like pretty much a huge thing in my life. So this is just like a little part of like me, because a lot is happening in this world, and I think like people who surround us and make impact in our lives, it doesn't have to be face to face. You can literally listen to someone on YouTube. I might not be the best person, but like I don't know, like Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, Rich 150X, anyone you like on YouTube that's like literally has the kind of life that you want, people that you admire. We basically relate to people because we are kind of the same when we have the same values, or it's someone that you want to be like, or someone like you look up to. So two kind of people that you like, and find the one that makes a huge positive impact in your life, and just listen to them as much as possible. I know that like school can be hard. You might not have any friends. You might be isolated. This can be people at your work might really drive you crazy. But if you can find like 5 minutes, as much time as possible, but to listen to people who inspire you, who make your life better, who just share the thoughts that like you relate to a lot, listen to them and follow them, and just help yourself. Use it to help yourself and move forward in life. And do it as much as possible. Like, I know that your day can be like 90% bad, but if for 10 minutes you can listen to something good, that'll make a huge impact in your life. So as much as possible, listen to something like have someone to look up to, someone who lives the life you want, and use their tips. Just try to apply it in your life, and just like, even though people might crush you, just 5 minutes of like listening to that person will make a huge impact in your life. And I'm just like wondering how you're dealing with it all. What kind of people are you looking up to? How are they helping your life? And how did you get through that kind of stuff, if you've ever had it? Like, some people might have an awesome life. Some people might go ups and downs. But if someone helps you to make your life better, it could be your mom, it could be your brother, anyone. But please share about them. Like, tell us, like, how do they help you? How do they impact? What kind of tips did they give you? And like, what kind of things did you use to make your life better? It's important, because if I'm sharing, and if other people start sharing these kind of things, others like who are in a pretty bad situation right now in their life, and they just come to the comments section and read your story, and just like they might relate to your experience, because it's right now they might be going through exactly the same thing that you've gone into like through 5 years ago. And if you can help them this thing alone can make a huge impact in the world. And of course, like, I can be pretty naive, like, I guess I am, but I want to think, like, that all of us can make a huge impact one by one. But if we tell our stories, if we are able to share all the stuff that we've been through and just like how we went through it, just the whole journaling thing. This is why I try to keep a journal stuff, like, this today I'm feeling like this is what happened, these are the things I did, and just like keeping the journal of planning to do things and then what I do and how I get better. But right now I've been through like lots of up, and then I fell and I was like, oh shit, what happened? And I literally sat down and read my journal and found the day where a lot of stuff happened, and I was like close to the like suicide and stuff, and I was reading like, what was I doing to get back to where I am right now? And I've read like 5 pages, and I knew exactly the steps I needed to take and how I need to like take like control of my life again and just like rebuild everything. And I was able to stand up again. Like, I've had troubles, but I already had the trail blazed and the details written down, and like how what happened, what did I do, and how can I get better. So I just read my story again, and I was like, wow, this is exactly what I can do. And again, like, I started doing those things, and in a few days I was like a whole new person and feeling much better. So you might not keep the journal, but you can tell your story and you can make a huge impact. And that's the whole point of the video. Like, I just want us to share our stories, share the people who helped us, because if others around us that have no knowledge about them can find a new mentor, can find someone to look up to, can find a better impact in their life and use their tips to make their life better, that can be a huge and great impact in other people's lives. So yeah, I guess that's it for now. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and I will see you next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.